What's up, you guys, and welcome back to some more r/slash real talk stories with your boy RT and my dude Dale. You guys, today we're gonna dive into some real talk am I the a-hole stories, where we've got to figure out if OP is an a-hole for making his son's teacher cry. You guys, without any further ado, Dale, let's dive right into it.
I just had an experience that I am not sure how to feel about. I was walking my dog on a commercial street filled with small businesses and shops in Queens. I had just come from the vet, and my dog, a beagle mix, had been pretty nervous, so I thought a little walk would be nice. As we are walking, my dog suddenly stops and poops in the middle of the sidewalk. Now, this is not an ideal place for him to go, and usually he tries to find a grassy spot off to the side, but apparently he needed to go, and this was where he was going. This spot he chose to go on the sidewalk happened to be in front of a cafe, about 4 feet in front of it. I didn't think much of it, or even notice what business I was in front of. I got out a poop bag to pick it up. I picked up the poop in the dog bag and tied a knot. There was a small amount of residue that I couldn't get off of the sidewalk. Not sure how to avoid that. Just as we were about to continue walking, someone, who I assume is the owner of the cafe, pops out of the door and says in a rude tone, "This is a business. Don't let your dog poop here," pointing to where the dog had pooped. He should have pooped over there. Points to the curb. I didn't know how to respond, and I think I mustered something like, "This is a sidewalk, and this is where he stopped to go." I didn't feel like I should apologize for anything in this situation, so I did not. I was more annoyed than anything. I turned and left without further engaging with the person. I noted the shop and made a mental note to never visit it. Just for a better visual, this cafe has no outdoor seating. This is just a public sidewalk in front of their cafe that is on a pedestrian street in a big city. I'm not sure what I could have done differently. I picked up the poop. The owner of the cafe didn't need to come out and say anything. They don't own the sidewalk in front of their cafe. This is New York City. We all have to share the sidewalk. Who's the a-hole?
So, I don't have a dog at the moment. I used to have a beautiful, beautiful chocolate lab, and you know what? I look at dogs in the same way that I look at babies, okay? You can't tell them when to poop. You can't say, wait, don't poop, hold it, and go. Like that. That's just not how it works. Dogs are like babies. They know when they need to go. And you know what? They're just going to do what they need to do when they need to do it. Especially dogs, when they're in the environment where they know, okay, I'm trained. I know I go outside. We're outside. I'm just going to go. Babies, they just go wherever they are because they got the diaper on and they just don't understand what's going on. So it's not like OP could have turned around and commanded the dog to poop. Poop now. Now, do not poop. Wait. Hold it. Let's go over here. Hold it. And now, like, that's just not how it works. So the restaurant owner probably had no experience with dogs. Maybe the owner just does not like dogs, or whoever stuck their head out of the restaurant. Either way, they're a bit of an a-hole. OP, you're not an a-hole. I mean, you can't command a dog to poop or not to poop. I mean, that's just not how it works. It just happens. It's just nature, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody poops. Next story.
I, female 24, was unfortunate enough to witness my brother's birth when I was 6. Front row and all, I was the first person to carry him in the hospital room. To be honest, I don't remember anything except how horrific that memory is. My parents have apologized, and we have made peace with it. They thought it would be cute for me to see my brother first. It wasn't. They said sorry and we moved on. The rest of my family hasn't moved on. They still think it's absolutely bonkers. I don't think it was a magical moment. Fast forward to now, I'm visiting my aunts and uncles during one of their reunions, and a couple that's friends with one of them are talking about how excited they are about the birth of their kid. I say nothing. They keep talking until I heard how they are also planning to have their first kid in the delivery room with the mom to have an experience like I have. My aunt goes pale, and before she could deflect, I said, "If you want to traumatize that kid for life, be my guest." The couple is silent, and my aunt quickly shifts the topic to another birth and baby things, and my uncles ask me to go eat something. I understand when I'm being dismissed, so I ate some more food and left for the night. After that, my extended family began blowing up my phone about how I ruined the birth of their kid for the couple, and how now they are feeling like crap and like bad parents. I think I saved another poor kid's eyes, but it also wasn't my place since I don't know them. So, am I the a-hole? Edit. My extended family manages the hospital ward. I don't know if kids are banned or not, but if they are, I assume they don't do anything about it. My story gets shared with anyone who listens as an example of an excellent sibling bonding opportunity. They are very much aware of my thoughts on birth and that particular memory.
So everybody's different. Every birth is different. Everybody can handle and tolerate different things. Evidently, OP just could not tolerate witnessing this particular event, the birth of her brother. Now, I do think that it is a little strange to, intentionally plan to have your daughter or your son witness the birth of your child, their future sibling, especially when all sorts of extremities and bodily parts are exposed in this birth-giving experience. It's just a little weird, in my opinion. But again, the parents might have thought that this would be a great experience for whatever reason. Maybe they just didn't explain it well enough to OP. Maybe they didn't give, a good enough, prerequisite, conversation to OP prior to the birth of her brother. I don't know. Whatever the case is, she just doesn't like it. So I don't think that she's the a-hole for expressing her discontentment with these types of things taking place. She obviously was traumatized and she's just trying to save other kids from the potential trauma. I do think you have to walk on, eggshells and kind of be a little bit more cautious when you are expressing these types of thoughts, especially around new parents or, people who are giving birth, pregnant women. There's hormones and just emotions and all that stuff that are all over the place. So you don't want to step on too many toes. However, I do think that it is okay to, shed a bit of warning, especially if you've experienced what someone else is getting ready to experience. You can kind of let them know, hey, this might not go as planned. You might not like it in the way in which you thought. It might not give you the kind of results that you were hoping for. But either way, I don't think that OP's the a-hole in this particular situation. OP was just trying to look out for another kid that could potentially be traumatized from all of the ins and outs of childbirth. And let me tell you, from personal experience, it is not, I repeat, it is not for the faint of heart. Let's keep going, y'all.
Last Thursday, I, male, 36, got a call from my son's school telling me I needed to come and get him because he had passed out during class. My son has passed out a good few times before, so we've made sure he knows what to do when he starts to feel faint to make sure he doesn't hurt himself. However, when I arrived at the school, my son was holding an ice pack to his head. When I asked about it, the nurse told me he had hit his head when he fell. I wondered why he didn't lay down like we taught him to do. I brushed it off and decided to ask him about it later, as he was still kind of out of it. The next day I asked him about it, and what he told me made my blood boil. Apparently, when my son had first started to feel like he was going to pass out, he tried to tell his teacher. When he stood up to talk to her, he was immediately yelled at to sit back down. The next time he tried to tell her, she told him that he didn't look sick, so he wasn't allowed to go to the nurse's office. Then, his class was doing an activity that required standing for practically the rest of the lesson before the activity started. My son, yet again, told this teacher that he felt like he was going to pass out and asked if he could sit the activity out. The teacher responded by yelling at him, claiming he was just being lazy and was making excuses. My son's friend was getting worried about him, so he told the teacher, who then started yelling at his friend, accusing them both of trying to get out of lesson. Not even a minute later, my son passed out, and according to his friend and a couple other classmates, she acted very shocked, as if she hadn't been ignoring him trying to tell her how he felt for the last 5 minutes. I'm extremely worried about the impact this will have on my son, as when the fainting first started, he didn't tell any of his teachers as he was scared that they were going to yell at him. This resulted in quite a few injuries from falling. It has taken a while for him to start telling them when he's feeling faint, and I'm afraid this incident will cause him to stop asking, and he will hurt himself. I had wanted to go down to the school that day, but I decided not to. The following Monday, I arranged an appointment with the principal. After I explained what had happened, he called in my son's teacher, who then tried to deny the fact that he ever told her anything, and he had just randomly collapsed. This is where I may be the a-hole. By this point, I was pissed. I began to scream at her, yelling about how my son could have gotten hurt. I was so pissed I hadn't even noticed that she'd started to cry. By that point, I was asked to leave by the principal. My wife and some of my friends think I'm in the right, but my parents and the other half of my friends think I went too far. I don't know about this one. What do you guys think? Am I the a-hole?
So, I think that parents can sometimes do the most when it comes to their kids. However, in this situation, I do not think that that is the case. I think that OP is completely in the right for blowing up at this teacher. You know, it's unfortunate that, you know, they started crying, when being called to the principal's office and after being berated by OP. However, you know, OP worked very diligently. He explained that he worked very hard to make sure that his son knew exactly what to do in the case where he felt like he was going to faint. And OP's son did everything that he was instructed to do. But it's a situation where the teacher just did not heed the warnings that the child gave to the teacher. And, it's not the child's fault. At the end of the day, I think the child did what they were instructed to do by the parent. I think that the parent did what they needed to do to prepare the child. I think that the teacher failed when it came to making sure that the children remained safe in all cases. You know, if it's a situation where, a child comes to you with even a minor issue that could potentially come to pass, you take it as an extremely serious situation, especially when children are involved, especially when it's a health situation. You don't just sit around and pretend like it is something fake, like they're just trying to get attention or whatever the case is. You take heed to the situation and you take it extremely seriously. So, in my opinion, I feel like the teacher needs to be reprimanded. I feel like, the teacher may not be suitable to be in the presence and to deal with kids because you know what? Anything could happen. And, children, people, adults, whoever you are, we as individuals know our own bodies. So if it's something that is taking place and someone warns you as a teacher, you should take heed and you should be extremely cautious about how you deal with that situation and just be prepared for the absolute worst. Send them to the nurse's office, have them have a seat, call the parents, be proactive. In this case, the teacher did nothing but just yell at the kid, which caused the kid to be injured. So the dad is not the a-hole. The child is obviously not the a-hole. The teacher is definitely the a-hole in this situation. I say it in just about every other video. We gotta protect these kids, y'all. We gotta do everything in our part to protect the children, you guys, because if we don't, who is, ladies and gentlemen? You guys, I want to know, do you guys think the teacher is the a-hole in the situation? If you're a teacher, let me know what you would do. Let me know what you would have done if you were in this particular situation. Do you think the dad is the a-hole? Yes or no? Let me know down in the comment section, you guys. Y'all, I appreciate y'all for sticking around and hanging out with us as we go through some more real talk stories with y'all today. You guys, if y'all have enjoyed today's video, please take a moment to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm and be sure to hit the subscription button as well as the bell notification icon. That way you are notified every single time we upload a new real talk video here on this channel, y'all, for the community. And until we meet again, ladies and gentlemen, many blessings and much love, y'all.